Right. Okay. Well, should be sound now. Hello, 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 and welcome. Now you might. Sorry. Just gotta get back into it. Now I want to start off by apologizing that I haven't been live and that I haven't gotten up the podcast that I promised. Things have been hectic lately. A lot of things been happening. A lot of snow has been falling. A lot been busy. IRL stuff happens. Much as I want to sit here and talk to you guys, this is as much for me. It's as much as a revamp as anything. I mean, I have to figure out things as well. So, as far as I understand, this is the title is something that I regret to inform. Now, it is not because I believe that this is true. It is in some ways true. Now, is it because of Ukraine? No, it's not because Ukraine is lacking in the ability to fight. It's because the EU, like my title, uh, continues to be, well, fucking useless. Uh, we don't produce things. We don't produce anything. We're waiting for the U.S. to provide everything, and then every time the U.S. goes, well, we can't provide everything for this war, the EU goes, and Germany, Poland, people that, then they're saying, oh, we have to get ready for our defense, and we have to blah blah blah. Listen here, motherfuckers. If you give the things that you're getting ready for, Poland was to give their things that they were so-called getting ready for a fight against Belarus or Russia. Here's the thing, buddy. Give it to Ukraine. Why? Because if Ukraine defeats Russia, there won't be a fucking need for a war. Now, one of the things that is coming in here, and I want to bring this to you, is the countries on NATO's eastern flank have 3 years to prepare for the possibility of Russian attack. The head of the Polish National Security Agency said, The Times, that was reported by The Times, there is a particular concern about Estonia, Latvia, and Lithuania. It's important to remember that the Baltic states were always countries that we fought in an eventuality of a war against Russia, that we were thought to have had the possibility of losing them. Now, listen, I think it's quite ridiculous, but the reason why they're saying this right now, the reason why it's coming out, is because Russia, as I have mentioned before, and I have said this before, and don't quote me on it because I will say it again, Russia simply just has more. They have more capabilities to produce. The reason why we don't have is because of inactivity. The nation's killer, right? The thing that kills nations is never the idea that we don't have enough people. It's never the idea of enough industry. It's the inactivity. You see, you can always build an industry. You can always gain population. The way that Europe wants to fight their wars and wage their wars is by the idea that we are going to fight a war with more manpower. That's the thing. We always say, oh, there's 125 million or less than that in Russia, and then there's 400 million people living in the EU, blah blah blah, or in NATO. They say there's almost a billion, or whatever they say, right? We have 300. We have 3 million active members. Well, Russia has 2 million active members. They say. Here's my point of view. Here's what you have to think about. The fact that we are thinking that the war is run by the idea that's just throwing so many people at a line and thinking that that's how we win a war is ridiculous. We shouldn't fight wars like that, and we shouldn't think that's how a war is fought, because it's not. That's not how you fight wars. Wars should be fought by the idea of who can produce more in forms of better tanks and better reliable tanks. Tanks are not dead, okay? Now, drone production, one thing. Second thing, by the way, being able to produce jets, being able to produce, well, anything that you might like to be able to produce, I think we should be able to have the capability to produce. That's just what I think. Denmark is one of the countries in which I do live in, and I'm not afraid to say this. Denmark has lagging behind. One of the biggest killers of our nation, the nation that we keep saying is, and we're going back and we're becoming weaker and weaker. That's true, because we're not focusing on the idea of actually building a fucking industry that can tolerate war. We don't have that. We could fight for days, and then Denmark will be out of the fight. We wouldn't be able to fight anything else but be able to send manpower towards the front, which would mean that in World War III, which would be more likely to be the most highest casualty of war ever. The reason why I'm saying that is because Europe back in time, the UK, had their own industry. They still do, but they don't have that capability like they had back in the day with their massive empire, able to produce, whatever they wanted to, because they could bring in supplies from everywhere, while the United States was supplying them, and that's the idea here. But factorism is that the rest of Europe, we've never had that. Denmark, we've always been a fucking weak ass shit country, and I hate that factor for me, because the reason why I hate it is because, think about it, I don't want to live in a country in where we can't defend ourselves. People keep saying, oh, well, soldiers are great. Oh, right, your soldiers are great. Fuck, it doesn't matter how fucking great the soldiers are. It doesn't fucking matter how great the soldiers are if they have nothing to fight with. You can train elite soldiers and they'd be the best soldiers in the world, but if they're fighting with sticks and stones, they're always going to lose against a fucking 13-year-old with a fucking gun. Am I wrong? Quote me if I'm wrong, because I'm not wrong. I am fucking never wrong. Anyways, take it upon consideration here. But this is the latest updates here. As you can see, Russians are still managing to move forward. Few contribution as of yesterday. Moved the lines quite a bit there, down here towards that area. Some pushback from the Ukrainian side, it appears, up along these areas here. Could just be restructuring or revamping of forces. One of the things that came out here, a lot of experts around the world, or at least in Denmark, I hate experts. Okay, I don't like experts. People can, oh, well, why don't you like experts? Because experts are people that have read their way towards where they are. Well, listen, if there's an expert that says that they're expert because they've had actual battlefield experience and actually been in the field and all that stuff, then 100% I would support the factor that they are real experts. But one thing I do not support is people that have read their way towards calling themselves experts. And that's the second thing. However, there are experts in Europe who are currently stating the factor that Russia simply has the upper hand. Jens Stoltenberg came out and said, listen, guys, these F-16s are not going to make a major difference. I still beg to differ. I still think that F-16s will make the differ. One thing that is worrying me is the idea here that this came out from insider paper here. We can read this together here. But Ukraine aid to run out by the year's end, White House warns. And this is from insider paper here. So read this. The White House issues a stark warning Monday that the U.S. aid for Ukraine will run out by the end of the year. End of this year, by the way, which is, guess what, guys, in less than a month. Saying that if Congress fails to agree funding, it will kneecap Kyiv fighting against the Russian invasion. We are out of money and nearly out of time, White House Budget Director Shalanda Young said in a blunt letter to Republican House Speaker Mike Johnson, reflecting President Joe Biden's growing frustration with the congressional settlement. Biden asked Congress in October for a huge $106 billion national security package, including assistance for Ukraine and Israel, but the funding has been mirrored in division on Capitol Hill. Gotta breathe here. Ukraine has been desperately pushing for more Western aid as Russia forces step up attacks in the winter after Kyiv's counteroffensive failed over the summer. Now, they have said this. Failed. You fail. Of course you fail. But I've said this before. I mean, listen, failures are failures, and they happen. You're not perfect. Ukraine's not perfect. They can't be the best every time. I think they've proven to us that they are capable of doing massive things, unlike anybody would ever thought they are. Listen, nobody thought Ukraine was going to win at the start. Nobody thought Ukraine was going to win at the start. They always thought they were going to lose. Now, nobody's thinking Ukraine's going to win now. Listen, here's the thing. Nobody thought Britain was going to win against the Nazis. But they still did it. They were outmatched, outgunned in every possible way. Every odd, was against Britain at that point. But they still won. Can't lose faith on the idea of Ukraine just yet. Now, there are some key differences as to why Britain did win. It had a massive empire. It could supply itself. That's one thing Ukraine doesn't have. It doesn't have a massive industry that supplies itself. It should have had that, but because of, again, I say this, corruption, inactivity. Inactivity is the nation killer. Inactivity kills nations. It's happening in the US. It's happening in all over the world. If you are in a government that is inactive, doesn't act upon the ideas of a nation, and doesn't even produce, then it will fail eventually. Well, maybe it won't fail, but it's certainly not run very well, and it'll become lesser. Anyways, I want to be clear. Without congressional action, by the end of the year, we will run out of resources to produce more weapons and equipment for Ukraine, Young wrote. Cutting off the flow of U.S. weapons and equipment will kneecap Ukraine on the battlefield, not only putting at risk the gains Ukraine has made, but increasing the likelihood of Russian military victories. U.S. aid package to Ukraine has already become smaller due to the funding squeeze, added Young, the head of the White House Office of Management and Budget. Magical pot. Jesus Christ. But Johnson, who took office in October after his predecessor was ousted in a right-wing coup, gave the letter a cool response. The Biden administration has failed to substantially address any of the I can't read that. I'm gonna go ahead and just try here, right? Legitimate concerns about the lack of clear strategy in Ukraine, Johnson said on X, formerly Twitter, on Monday. The factor is, these guys are people that haven't been in the military, right? These guys are acting like we didn't fail in World War II. And they're acting like the U.S. hasn't failed invasions before and then came back and then done it again. The U.S. has failed so many fucking times, when it comes to military strategies. But they've always come back. They've always done it again. But apparently, because Ukraine fails one time, Ukraine fails one time because they're not fucking magical. Okay, they're not fucking perfect. Wake the fuck up. They're not fucking perfect, right? Because they fail one time, right? And then the whole U.S. goes, oh, so now you see that they failed one time, so now they can't do anything, and then blah, 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 Fuck off. Listen. Here's the thing. Honest to God, you have to keep faith, okay? You can't just throw away the magic wand when you have it, okay? But listen, this guy, right, whoever it is, Mike Johnson, new House of Speaker, representative, whatever his name is, he's a fucking moron, okay? He doesn't know anything. He's one of the experts that I hate. You know why? Because he reads his way to expertise, right? He's one of those guys that goes, I've actually read an online course, and I know how to amputate an arm. Well, you don't, okay? It takes fucking years to learn how to do that stuff, okay? It takes years to become a doctor. You don't take an online course, and then the next day you know how to fucking perform a colonoscopy, or whatever they call it. I mean, I'm just saying, right? Okay, so moving on here. Johnson also repeated the Republicans. By the way, I retweeted this on my Twitter if you want to go read it for yourself. Insider paper. Great people. So, one second. What was I? Johnson also repeated the Republicans' insistence on tying any Ukraine aid to change in U.S. policy on the southern border with Mexico as numbers of migrants' arrival surges. Casting Russian President Vladimir Putin and Hamas as twin forces trying to annihilate neighboring democracies, Biden has sought to tie $61 billion for Ukraine with $14 billion for Israel in the aid package he demanded in October, along with funding for the border. A lot of money for the border. A lot of people coming through the border. A lot of immigrants. Coming through the border, Mexico, mostly, South America. Recently, one of the things that speaks to why South America has become very unstable recently, it has happened. Brazil and Venezuela is about to invade that small little fucking country. I don't know what the name is. Guyana, rich with oil or whatever the fuck it is. It has a lot of land grab. They want to grab it. Venezuela wants that. Brazil says we actually don't want you to have that because we want it. or and Guyana, who actually owns it, says that they want it. So there's like 3 countries that wants to go to war. Brazil, Venezuela is the major players. Brazil, biggest player, has the biggest army, is a real threat to Venezuelan sovereignty, or whatever you want to call it. Venezuela is a fucking corrupt as shit country. It's really, really bad shape. The most dangerous city in the world, talk about crime level, is in fucking Venezuela. Okay, that should put you into mind just how fucking corrupt Venezuela is. It's extremely out of proportion. But it's also the country with the most gold and the most oil and the most everything. It has so much vast resources that it's insane. It literally has a pocket of gold, of resources within its borders. Now, Brazil and many South American countries have a lot of resources. Many of that, which is gold. They've lived off that pretty goodly. Now they want more, and there's gold in the region they're trying to get to. They want gold, right? And it's ridiculous, but that's the fight they have. South America is becoming very unstable. They want to go towards America. America is becoming unstable because of, again, what I said before, inactivity. Right? Inactivity is the nation's killer. Canada, now has to accept them, or at least they try to go to Canada. Much better chances in Canada, as far as I understand. Canada doesn't really want that. Then they try and go somewhere else. They have to cross the Pacific or the Atlantic. Can't do that. They would have to buy a big boat. Can't afford a big boat. Can't afford the ticket with a big boat. Have to fly a plane. Can they afford a plane ticket? Don't know. So it's really a trap. You can't blame these people. Can't blame them. But whatever. Let's read on here. But Congress has become paralyzed for months by Republican infighting, with hand-right lawmakers particularly opposing any further assistance for Kyiv as the war drags into its 3rd year. Congress only narrowly averted a chaotic government shutdown over the Thanksgiving holiday, but a deal to keep the lights on until mid-January left out aid to Ukraine and Israel. Young insisted time was running out. There is no magical pot or funding available to meet this moment, she wrote. This isn't a next year problem. Time to help a democratic Ukraine fighting against Russian aggression is right now. It is time for Congress to act. Putin won't make peace. It's the last bit right here. Ukraine front lines have largely remained static for the last year, despite a massive push by Ukrainian forces this summer with a Western military hardware. The United States has already allocated $111 billion for Ukraine since Russia invaded in February 2022, including $67 billion for military procurement, Young said. European countries are also facing challenges in securing funding for Ukraine as fictive with the war states sets in. Fatigue. Is that fatigue? Yeah. Or, I don't know. Fears are growing in Washington that Putin may be content to sit out the situation until next year, U.S. presidential election 86. Welcome in. U.S. presidential election, a probable reply of 2022's contest between... How you doing, man? How you doing? Contest between Biden and Donald Trump. Poll shows a growing number of voting saying that the United States is doing too much to help Kyiv. I think my expectation is that Putin won't make peace or immediate peace before he sees the result of our election, a senior department official told reporters last week. The officials would not say why, but Moscow is widely seen as favoring a return by Trump, who has praised the Russian leader and questioned U.S. aid for Ukraine. Trump was impeached by the White House in 2019 for trying to pressure Ukraine's President Vladimir Zelensky into digging up what he allegedly was compromising information on Biden's son, who had once worked for Ukrainian energy company. Jesus Christ. A lot of words right there. Gonna go back to read it if you want to. You're gonna go back in the stream. As far as I understand here, I just shared it inside a paper. Go check these guys out. We tweet it on my Twitter here. So, yeah. Things are getting crazy. Things are getting out of hand. And one of the things that is getting really crazy is the idea that some people are throwing around that yes, Ukraine is running low on supplies. Some people are saying that supplies won't last this year, which, if you haven't noticed, this year is not very long. It's only a month left. Happy Christmas, by the way. Yeah. So, crazy. One thing that Putin, being Putin, has also said, I read that earlier in the stream, Putin and Western politicians in Poland and all that stuff says we have 3 years to get ready for a possible Russian attack in the Baltic states. Here it is. Putin threatens Latvia. The bunker dictator said that if Latvian authorities continue to policy towards Russian-speaking population, they will face a response within their country. All right, check it out.
Счастье придет в дом к тем, кто проводит такую политику. Ну, я не знаю сейчас сколько, но в Латвии, по-моему, 40% было русскоязычного населения. Наверняка и сейчас немало. Если они будут проводить такую политику в отношении людей, которые хотели жить в той или иной стране, работали там, создавали какие-то блага для этой страны, и с ними будут так по-свински обращаться, то в конце концов они сами с таким свинством и столкнутся внутри своих стран. Думаю, что
Treat like pig within their own country. As far as I understand, what he's trying to pressure or turn public opinion against the idea. Now, the gullible people, the idiots, will believe that word by word and say, oh, listen to what he's saying. They're actually going against the Russian speakers, which is bullshit. That's not happening. What's happening is we're having an anti-Russian campaign within our countries, but apparently we're not allowed to do that anymore because the left-wing parties being so fucking left-wing, being like, oh, you can't do that because that's against human rights and all that. Listen, hey, I'm all for human rights here, but when we say we don't want any fucking commie shit in our country, that means we don't want any commie shit in our country. I think that's pretty standard thing to ask. I just, thought I'd ask. Thank you. By the way, if you are curious as to how the situation is looking within the borders of Ukraine at this current moment, here you have it. This is the current situation here in Ukraine. It's not much better in Denmark. Of course, we're not at war, but it is very cold in Denmark and a lot of snow. But here you have it. Again, keeping that fire going, but it is snowy. Siberian winter coming in. It is like this in Denmark as well. So much snow. It is cold as shit. Of course, the Ukrainians continue to have proper equipment. I only like to see how the Russians are right now because I would imagine that the Russians aren't doing too good either. Or doing much, much worse. Imagine doing much worse. So as far as we're going right now, things are still going on within Israel, of course. As far as I understand, the situation remains as it is, that Israel has picked up its fighting. Now, I wasn't aware. Let me just take a look. One thing I did read about the situation there. So, you remember when I said that nobody's friends inside? Nobody's really friends in, nobody's really friends in the Middle East, right? So, apparently, through back channels, the other Arab coalitions who before, everybody was praising because they were so good friends and they would never betray each other. So through back channels, Iran, I think also, it involves Iran, Saudi Arabia probably, Syria, Iraq, all these countries. The Arab coalitions have apparently told Israel through back channels that actually they don't want Hamas to exist anymore because they're not good for domestic purposes. They're not profitable anymore. So I told you that, Israel, sorry, the Arab coalitions, they only like people when it benefits them. But as soon as it starts not benefiting them, then something happens. What happens? Good question. They don't want them anymore. They want to get rid of them. They tell them to go fuck themselves. Right? They act like they act like they never ever existed, which is, which is absolutely bonkers. And also, don't believe a shit that comes out of these Arab countries anymore, because all there are is fucking war propaganda trying to further their own cause. Here you have it. One of the things I've been keeping an eye on, you go back to my last stream, this is something I've been keeping an eye on. Solar storms powerful enough to directly impact our infrastructure are more common than previously thought. So, solar storms lately, 2 hit yesterday. So, the December 1st and December 2nd, we had 2 solar flares hit. Nothing really happened. Some interference from GPS were said to have happened, but nothing really. As far as we understand, now we're getting into a period in where in 2024 there's chances of more powerful solar flares that could, when we say infrastructure, we're not talking about buildings falling over. We're talking about our electrical infrastructure. We're talking about our internet. That's also infrastructure. Internet, electrical power grids, stuff like that. Infrastructure, and electrical energy infrastructure, communication infrastructure, stuff like that. So, what I understand, according to it, is that, well, listen, guys, we are actually heading into quite a dangerous period. I think what's happening here in the world, around the world lately, has become a lot of current. It seems to me that the sun is changing. We've been in an ice age before we were even here. The Earth was headed into an ice age before we even got here, which means, is there a chance that we're heading for an ice age? I don't know. But listen, hey, I told you a long time ago, it's going to get a lot hotter until it gets a lot colder. It got a lot hotter. We hit heat records in the Eastern European parts, heat records never seen before, and now we're hitting low records. We're hitting the most coldest records ever. Denmark has never been so much filled with snow as we are right now, right? I mean, we have, but it's very uncommon. And it's, funnily enough, we can track it and say it's usually around the time when the sun starts acting up. So something could be happening. And also, one of the other things is a lot of seismic activity lately. That could also be coupled something up with the sun, and a lot of volcanic activity. Look it up, okay? It's been happening. One other things here. So, leaders of the 27 EU member states will decide at a December 14 to 15 summit to start talks with Ukraine and Moldova on joining the Union. According to one EU diplomat, reaching an agreement to begin negotiations with Ukraine will be a very, very difficult task, in particular because of Hungary's position. Listen, inactivity kills nations. Here's my idea. Get rid of the inactivity. What's the inactivity? Hungary. Okay, get rid of Hungary. Problem fucking solved, right? Vote to get rid of Hungary. Why? Because you have a fucking democracy. You have to you go to fucking court. Say, listen, hey, we're gonna get rid of this guy. We all agree on it. Let's get rid of him. Then they're all gonna say, well, it's one of the majority. We made the decision. We're gonna get rid of you, and there's nothing you can say. What did I just say? 11 hikers died after Indonesian volcano erupts. Dozens still missing. Seismic activity. There's been a worldwide volcano alert coming out. Here you have it. Proof to fucking proof. Okay? Don't quote me on it, because I'm not going to sit here and say that the whole world's going to blow up. But you could quote me on the factor that, yes. The Russian Aerospace Force will use 5th generation Su-57 fighters against American F-16s if they appear in Ukraine, writes the National Interest. Until this moment, the occupiers have not used this equipment, although they've repeatedly declared its readiness. The funny thing is, you can't take out a fleet of Su-57. Why is that? Because they don't have a fleet. That's the greatest joke ever. Seismic activity. Again, don't quote me on, but there's been a lot of earthquake lately. One again here in Istanbul. By the way, fucking crazy, right? 5.1 earthquake hits sea south of Istanbul. Seismic activity popping off all over the world. Happened in Iceland. There's a new island off fucking the shore of Japan. You know, blah blah blah. You know, I mean, I'm just saying. Ukraine has started the production of 6 self-propelled guns, the Bodana, per month. There we go. It looks like that's a Ukrainian thing if I've ever seen one. Kind of has the design of what I imagine a seesaw kind of looks like, but it's become a more compact kind of thing. Looks faster as well. Good for them. So this is actually one of the things here as well. Cartridges produced will also start to be produced to in Ukraine. Gold hits new records as equities weakens. That's a new thing there. I've read about that earlier. Not something I'd necessarily think is a good point, but whatever. Netanyahu corruption trail resumes in Israel court. Oh, there you go. Okay. Ooh, look at that. Ukrainian defender enjoying the snow. This right here is a deadly man. The gold standard, it doesn't really matter. It used to matter. You know, it mattered back in 1800 when we used gold as currency. You used to still use gold as currency technically, but it doesn't really matter anymore because we have so much other refined kind of stuff that it doesn't really matter. I mean, usually you use gold to make phones. Therefore, if you're in the electronic business, when gold hits a new high, you know, it costs more. That's bad. It costs more to get it, you know. As far as that's I understand. Fucking bullshit. Look at this. Look at this fucking bullshit. Well, look at this. Ukraine war responsible for 150 million tons of CO2 emissions, experts. Who the fuck gives a fucking shit about your fucking CO2 emissions, you fucking morons? Listen, I don't give a fuck. There's people, you know, innocent people dying every single day in Ukraine, and you come out with a fucking... Now, this is not against Insider Paper. These guys are great, okay? This is not me going against Insider Paper. It's going against these fucking experts that come out with these fucking, CO2 emissions. You know, like, who the fuck gives a shit? Nah, if we give a shit about the planet, yeah, well, let's end this war then. You know, I mean, what the fuck? I really, really fucking hate when they do this kind of stuff. Because what the fuck does it matter? People are dying, and you're telling me that the only thing you care about is if the sky has a hole in it. Now, if the sky has a fucking hole in it, we're all fucking dead, right? So we might as well fucking end this war, help them end this war, you know, instead of complaining about it. I mean, you know, wow, did he really say that? Yeah. Polish carriers blocked American patrol boats for Ukrainian at the border. The day before, one of the carriers published a photo of a truck transporting a boat. The cover, as you can see, bears the logo of a manufacturer, Safe Boats International. This company does not produce boats for civilian use, as their field of activity is met the needs of rescue, police, military, and border guards. Militarny. The protesters sent the truck with they're still fucking protesting. Okay, I didn't know that, but apparently they are. They're still protesting. Well, as far as I understood, I wanted to ask if they were still protesting, but they are still protesting. Wow. Really? It's been days. Almost 2 weeks. The protest sent a truck with a boat on the end of the line because, in their opinion, it was an expensive yacht that was registered as humanitarian aid. Oh yeah, what an expensive yard that fits on the back of a pickup truck. It's not exactly a yard, is it? I mean, I wouldn't buy it if I was at war. Sure. 5 bodies found after crash of Osprey off Japan. This is the second this year alone. Groups of mostly Chinese men crossing illegally into the United States at the border of California. The fuck do you guys come from? Jesus Christ. Well, it goes retweet that. You can go check it out. Don't want to really show that. Russian authorities have confirmed the death of a Major General Shavatsky in Ukraine. The governor of Voronezh region, Alexander Gusev, has confirmed the death in the war in Ukraine of the 45-year-old deputy commander of the 4th Army Corps of Russian Armed Forces, Major General Vladimir Savatsky. Earlier, his death was reported by a number of Russian Ukrainian mass media. Spotify cut 70% of jobs as economy grows slow. Oh no. I like Spotify. Oh, my bad, Ocean. I can't, sometimes I can't stop myself, Ocean. How you doing? Did I really drop that many F-bombs? I'm sorry. Yeah. I was probably trying to explain something I didn't really find good. This whole white fat by not acting, the United States Congress is putting Ukraine's very existence in danger. White House warns Congress nearly out of time on Ukraine funds. I've just read a good article on the White House is running out of funding for Ukraine, or Ukraine is running out of supplies, and I've just read an article. Go back to the start of the stream, you can hear me talk about it there, but it's absolutely ridiculous, and it's true. Some experts, by the way, fuck those experts. No, some of them are real experts. Some of them are, the sort of, I've taken an online course and now I'm an expert kind of guy. Saying that, blah, 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 blah. And listen, I'm not an expert either. I'm not going to claim to be an expert, but at least I don't sit here and claim anything that I don't really know. I'm just claiming what I see, okay? Which is what I know. Yeah. Just want to say that. It's absolutely ridiculous. Things are happening. Things are going off. The end of the year, guys. End of the year, by the way, is in fucking how many days is that? 26 days, right? Do we have a 31th? Or do we have a 27 days? Yes? No. Yes? 31 days? 31 days, right? 21 days. Yeah. 86, and that's the thing, right? They shouldn't be out of money. They're not out of money, What they are out of is smart people. That's what they're really out of. Smart people would actually know what they're doing. That's what they're running dry on. Right anymore. It's all Israel. Yeah, there's nothing really going on in Israel. Hey, I can sum up what's happening in Israel with very few words. Hamas has lost, and Israel is killing the rest of the Hamas. there you have it. That's pretty much a sum of what's going on in Israel. There's nothing really else there. Hostages going out, you know. Did you print money with no gold backing? That's true, Ocean. That's what we all seem to do nowadays. Listen, one of the things I hope to see before I fucking die is a Denmark. Sorry, F-bomb. Is a Denmark that's run, my country, right? My country that's run by ideas of investment, foreign investments, industry investments into our own companies, an economy running on the capitalist idea, not fake capitalism, true capitalism, right? And a system not run by taxpayers, but run, sorry, not what I meant to say, a system not relying on the idea of tax, because if we keep relying on the fact that we have tax to pay the government, the tax will only go up. Tax will only go up and up and up. Eventually, which they're doing right now, is that they're taking 60% of our money. 60% of our money. And then they keep saying, oh, well, it's going towards our health care. And that's great. I have free health care. But there are still people in Denmark sitting at their homes that have cancer, that can't get their treatment. Why? Because the government is spending all our fucking taxpayer monies on their own little adventures to the fucking Caribbean, or either they're just spending it wrong. Okay? They're not spending on the military, so I don't know what the fuck they're even spending it on. We don't even use 2% of our budget for the military. We say that we have to, and then we say, well, we're going to have to use 2% of our budget, and then, we're going to be able to blah, blah, blah. Fuck off. Listen. You said, right? You said to me, right, that we're gonna use money for the military and get 2%. What the fuck are you gonna do? Denmark has 7 ships, right? In a week, that's gonna be over. We have 52 tanks. Whoa! How are you gonna fight a war with 52 tanks? And that's the thing. You go back to the start of the video, I was talking about it. Europe is thinking, hey, let's fight a war with the idea that we are going to win because we have more people. What the fuck is your point about that? The only thing that Denmark will be able to produce or even give to NATO if we were to be at an eventual point of war, would at the start we were able to produce tanks, maybe, not produce tanks, but give tanks, help our tank crews. Eventually that'll be over. Then we'll wait for more tanks. Well, that's not coming because they're not coming from the United States. We can't buy that while they're actually at war. The United States are probably not going to have enough time to supply little Denmark. So what is the only thing that Denmark's going to be able to contribute? Manpower. Okay, well then that means that we're going to war with 100,000 Danish people, 200,000 eventuality, right? It means that, Germany, Netherlands, Belgium, none of the people who have any form of industry, they have nothing. They don't produce anything. They don't fucking produce shit. Germany, who used to have a great military, we all know that. No, no surprise there. Don't have shit either. Okay? Could they produce? Yes. Germany could pick up its production. They could probably fight. We all know that. Don't have to bring that up. But other EU countries, they're not going to be able to fight. France, sure. England, sure, but these guys are old colonial powers. They have industry. Okay? And yeah. But no, listen. What you're going to see in a fight against Russia will be a man-on-man fight. It will be guns only and fighting against, No, I'm fine, Ocean. It's just there's a lot of IRL stuff, in real life kind of stuff that I've been taking care of. A lot of snow lately in Denmark, so I've had a lot of family over because it's Christmas, and they go nuts, and they have to go, oh, we have to come over, and I say, you can fuck off. Not actually say that, but I kind of wish it sometimes. No, it doesn't matter. I'm not saying that. I love my family sometimes, and it's a lot of stuff been happening lately. But I'm trying to. I'm probably gonna relaunch some lives here. I'm gonna be live this week, hopefully. I was just, a lot of stuff lately. We better pick it up. No, thank you, man. I'm good. Armenia says soldier killed by Azerbaijan near border. Oh, not a war launching? God damn. Thought these people already were at war. But no, you know, a war against Russia very likely would be a fucking man-on-man fight that would only be that would only be as many men as you can produce. Send 100 million men towards the point. Send 100 million men towards the front line. See who wins, right? That's the thing. They're gonna throw a whole generation at war because they were too inactive to produce their own fucking shit, right? No, that's the thing. Europe, I just want to point out, right? You know, they're gonna go to war. They're gonna go to war, and they're gonna send 1 million men towards the front lines. They're gonna waste a whole generation of young men thinking that that's a good idea because that's what we wanted to do anyways, right? That's how we fight a war. No, because they were too fucking inactive. You know, all the politicians stay at home saying, we have to do our jobs. We're politicians. We do everything for the country. Meanwhile, we have people earning fucking, you know, shit out of pocket money. A lot of fucking money, right? A lot of fucking money doing fucking nothing. You have politicians that does nothing for the country, earns more than you'll ever earn in your fucking life. How do you think about that? Do you think that's fair? Doing war. Do you think those politicians are going to go to war? No, they're not going to go to war. They're going to stay at home. They're going to do the exact same thing they did before. Talk about the climate and how everything is sunshine and flowers. Fuck off. Stop being so goddamn inactive, Europe. Okay? You know, stop. Wake the fuck up. Okay? We're going to war. Okay? 3 years, 5 years, we're going to be at war. Okay? There's no otherwise. We're not going to avoid it. There's no going back. Okay? And then should we be producing things? Germany producing, you know, England sure could produce. They don't produce not near enough towards what they should be producing. But Denmark is one of the countries that have to pick up their goddamn pace. Many of the European countries have to pick up the pace. Just saying. You know, I mean, yeah, I get very frustrated about it because the reason why I say it is because that generation of fucking young men in 5 years, not only is it going to be me, but it's also very likely going to be a lot of, you know, the people you know nowadays, right? You have your, what's that? You have your fucking 13-year-old, you have your 13-year-old niece or your 13-year-old nephew. He's going to go 18 when Russia decides to attack. He's going to go to the front lines. Many of you might be too old at that point. I'm not going to be too old. Sure, they're going to send me to the front lines unless I'm doing something else. So, you know, Europe, they don't have production to fight. America, sure, they have production to fight, but they're still going to need a lot of manpower. World War III will be the most bloodiest battle of all time. It was Einstein who said, we will fight World War IV with sticks and stones, right? That's what we're going to fight. Welcome back, Ocean. Einstein said it. The World War IV, which is after free, right, will be fought by sticks and stones. That's true. Fucking ridiculous. Really, really ridiculous. Yeah. Anyways, how you guys doing? I've been keeping that in for a little bit. You hear that? Yeah. Ghana says vigilantly after Venezuela referendum on disputed region. Oh yeah, Venezuela held a fucking referendum on whether or not they should own an area. Oh, you sick? Stomach full? Goddamn. Well, I hope he gets better. Hopefully you're not too sick. 260. Well, obviously you're not gonna go to work then, I'd imagine. U.S. presidential administration has sent an urgent warning to Congress to approve tens of billions of dollars in military and economic aid to Ukraine. Yeah. The European Commission disagrees with Hungarian Prime Minister Urban opinion to proposal to start membership talks with Ukraine in December is unjustified, the European Commission said. Unjustified. It's unjustified. Yeah, of course it fucking is. Does Ukraine need to be in the EU? Tell you what it needs to be in. It needs to be in NATO. That's one thing it needs to be. It needs to be in the EU? Yeah, sure. Listen, Moldova, NATO, EU membership, sure. Listen, let's bring these people in, okay? There's no reason for them not to be in there. Fucking Christ. Trying. I've had it worse. God damn. You've had it worse, you say. You've had it worse. Alright. Lukashenko has arrived in China to meet with Xi Jinping to quotes from the Chinese leadership speech that I found interesting, especially. In today's world, there are titanic changes, now new risks and challenges. Much of what is happening is unexpected for us. Under strong leadership of Mr. President, your country has been able to overcome the impact of various negative factors, maintain social harmony and stability, and realize economic recovery and growth. Do I want to watch it? I don't really give a fuck about Lukashenko. Do I give a fuck about Lukashenko? No, I don't give a fuck about Lukashenko. I don't really, you know. I don't really care about Lukashenko. You know, it's like, do you care about Lukashenko? No, I don't care about Lukashenko. Do you care about Lukashenko? Because I don't care about him. You know, fucking madman. Miss Iraq has a message. The IDF detonates the Supreme Court building in Gaza December 4th. Alright. Thank God. Alright, well listen, hey, can't get you all of it, so we might have missed something. So let's watch some flash news. Then you'll get some news out of today. You'll get to know everything if you watch flash news. So flash news, daily news here. Let's watch it.
יואו, יואו, אחי. נפל אחוז שילינג. נפל?
Fucking way. I fucking talked about this. Volcanic alert all over the fucking world, and you people were like, "Oh shit, you can't be right," you know? Can't be right all the time. Can't be right all the time. You know, you can't be right. It's gonna be a lot hotter before it gets a lot colder. Can't be right all the time. You know, seismic activity, a lot more earthquakes coming. Can't be right all the time. I was right. And again, no, I'm not trying to put myself out here. You know, I was reading off what the scientists was telling me, and I was reconfirming it. You know, just not really saying anything, but here you have it again. Fucking huge explosion. Very little death claims though.
Jadi teman-teman kami menyelamatkan diri dulu. Ada yang berdiri di ruangan, ada yang masuk ke dalam.
Huge. It's huge. Okay? It was bigger than what I was going to build the wall. Listen. All you do is Trump voice, right? Can't do a Trump voice. I cannot do that. Well, 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 well. Look at that. Hamas does not prohibit violence against women within their family, including sexual violence. Honor killings that are punished mildly. 13.4% of women in Gaza were married before the age of 15, 29% before the age of 18. A woman must pay her husband in order to divorce him, but a man can divorce his wife cost-free for any reason. 1940 beach in Gaza. 2020 beach in Gaza. Wow. So much better. Now, I'm not going to sit here and disrespect a religion because I'm not somebody who does that. I believe we all have a right to have a free religion. However, I don't believe that oppression of women, I don't believe that oppression of anybody, okay, is a religion. I don't believe that the idea that women under the age of 18 should have children or be married or have relations. Now, do mind me that if it's relations with someone their age, listen, this is weird talk, okay, but I'm gonna, this is very weird talk, but relations with someone their age, okay. Do I still think it's a bit weird? Sure. I don't know if I don't like the fact that children in all those young ages nowadays, they're having children, they're having children younger and younger, and, well, you know, I mean, are they? I don't know. But listen, hey, reality here is, I just think it's ridiculous that people are praising the idea of Hamas. People are praising the idea of the oppression. Such oppression against women. Women aren't even allowed to drive in most Muslim countries. You know, in Saudi Arabia, it became legal. But that's pretty much one of the only countries, you know. But this idea that women can't dress how they want to dress, they have to, you know, all this blah blah blahness, you know, it's like this religion that we call perfect religion. You know, that's not their religion. Hamas is taking it to a level of extremism in where it's no longer just a religion. It's actually a fucking extremist idea. It's modern day fascism, and we call it religion. It's not religion. You know, people are celebrating. These people who've grown up believing in this so-called religion or this extremist idea world celebrate the fact that when women get punished or get beat up because they had an affair, or not an affair, but had relations, however you put it, you know, relations, you know, how you put it, relations with another man. Yeah, relations. They were teenagers having relations, sex, and they were beaten. They celebrate that. This is, men celebrate the idea, and then they marry them at the age of 13 and say that's normal. It's not normal. I don't have anything against the idea that they have multiple wives. I have something against the idea that the wife they have is underage, and I will never, ever talk to someone that say to me that I have an underage wife. It would take a lot for me not to punch that motherfucker in the face. Now, granted, I probably wouldn't do it, but, you know. The Gaza Strip, according to... Oh, I'm going to read this. Right. I mean, am I the only one who thinks it's really ridiculous that this religion that they call this perfect religion or this perfect idea? You know, that's not the religion. That's not the religion. You know what it is? It's a substantial religion. They've taken what was once Islam, or was what was once, you know. You gonna try and visit Ukraine? When the war is over, and if I have time, I imagine I'll probably volunteer to go and help out in Ukraine. If the war is over at one point, and if they win and the war gets over at one point, I imagine I'd probably sign up for some kind of, you know, volunteering program or something like that. to help out. I don't know how to build stuff. I mean, I know how to build the basic things, but I don't know how to build a house, right? But imagine I could use someone to lift some things, and I can do that. So, or so yeah, I don't know. I mean, whatever, I think that's that could be pretty cool. So I might do that, but yeah, still don't know. I'm not gonna go there while the war's on. Um, you know, I don't want to help out, but I just I don't see exactly how I would help out being there. I don't have any military experience. I have nothing to contribute. I would just be a small person in a country in desperate needs. But I don't know. One day I shall see a free Ukraine. Whether or not it will be in military gear or if it will be in civilian clothing, I don't know. But hopefully one day we will see a free Ukraine. That's my belief. Free world. The world's about to change, gentlemen. We are about to get a lot more radical. And I don't think there's going to be space for openness, calmness. Listen, do I think that there's going to be, if a war starts and all these people, teach history about the orcs? Teach history about the orcs? Well, yeah. Yeah. I don't know if I want to be a teacher. I mean, I could, I don't know if I want to be a teacher, but I could certainly do some other things. I could teach in other ways, but I certainly don't want to. I don't know. I'm not that good with teaching in front of. I don't know. Not me. Maybe. You never know. Never know where life takes you. Never know.
Good as gold. I'm actually going to have minor surgery, and what they're going to do is, when I fell on black ice the other day on the way to the pub. Please note.
The F bomb, and teach them the fucking F bomb. Hey, listen, don't say the F bomb. But sir, you did all the time. Yeah, that was because I had a reason to. I had a reason to. The fucking commies. Oh yeah, have you ever wondered how you prepare an artillery position? Digging into the ground. This is how you do it when it's frozen. And it's called. That's how you do. That's how you do it when it's frozen, like real frozen. They burn it. Try and freeze it up. You have to burn it there, you saw, because then the ice goes away. Sorry, not the ice, but it's sort of. Well, you get it. The ground. Well, I don't know why I'm explaining why they're burning. Obviously, you know why. Obviously, you know why. Again, I don't take you for being that stupid. Canada's CPS announces 600 job cuts, 10% of workforce. Shit, guys. I think this gold standard shit just fucked up the whole goddamn world with their whole goddamn job industry. Well, good time to do a lot of other stuff. Think about the world, gentlemen. Think about the world. It's been a long time since I've seen Ukrainian POWs being taken while at war, but lately I've seen some POWs being taken from the positions in where Russia is moving forward because Ukraine is receiving less and less equipment. You know, so I imagine there's shortages. If Ukraine is running out of equipment, as far as we can say, in a month, right? You'd have to imagine that there's going to be shortages at the front line. You know, it's only logical to assume that on the front lines right now, there are shortages of ammunition. We will keep killing as many Jews as we possibly can until Israel is wiped out the map. It's obvious they just want to live in peace. Yeah, I know all kinds of stuff. Oh, Black Lives Matter. Oh, college. You know, blue hair. You know, and people go, oh, you trashing? What are you doing? You trashing Black Lives Matter? Fuck off. No, I'm not. By the way, that whole Black Lives Matters bullshit, it was a bullshit movement anyways. Oh, was it? Yeah. You know why? Because it didn't do shit. Okay? If anything, it made things a lot more fucking worse. It made a lot of things worse. You can ask any black guy you want, they'll agree with me. Well, maybe not all of them, but a lot of them will. Ask Morgan Freeman, because Morgan Freeman, a man who I'm quoting this by Morgan Freeman, he said he didn't like the Black Lives Matter movement. You know why? It was a bunch of celebrities on the streets saying they cared about Black Lives Matters. All they really cared about was getting some fame, you know, and on and blah blah blah, you know. But listen, it didn't matter. Because it only made things worse. If you really want to stop racism, stop talking about it. Okay? Stop talking about it. And when these racist people come to you, stop giving them your attention. They're not worth your time. Pick your battles. Ask to yourself, when that one old man comes around and he says, you fucking something, ask yourself, is it worth me going to jail? Is it worth me yelling at this man? Think about how sad his life is. He goes around saying that stuff. You know? No person with a good life, no person who's rich, no person with a really good life is going to go around saying racist shit. Because either they're too famous to do so, or they simply don't really care about that stuff and they were not going to do it, you know? So listen, I know you might think that I'm wrong. Truth to God, it only made things worse. The whole Black Lives Matter movement only made things worse. It really did. What happened to George Floyd was an undespicable thing, but the whole movement did not do... Maybe at the start it was a good thing, but they turned it into something bad like they always do. You know? They just wanted fame and money. Exactly, Ocean. And there ain't nothing good about that. And, you know, people go around saying, oh, well, you can't say that stuff. Why? You can say you hate... I hear people all the time say they hate white people. And what, am I supposed to just accept that? You know? Listen, I don't hate anybody. No matter your race or your color or whatever the fuck you look like. I don't hate you. Why would I hate you? I have no reason to hate you. If you make me hate you, I will hate you. And I don't give a fuck what the fuck you look like. Okay? If you give a reason for me to hate you, I will hate you. You know? Respect. You know, you want respect? Respect is not fucking given. It's earned. Okay? That's just how life is. You know? Again, sorry. Wake the fuck up. You know? Sorry. And I'm just serious, you know? But that doesn't matter. You know, a lot of people are going to disagree with me. Sure, and that's life. But, you know. Anyways, I don't really have any more for you. I mean, a lot of stuff is not... Listen, as far as I understand right now, the lines are moving. The Russians have an upper hand in this war. It's turned into this 2022 advantage point where the Russians had an upper hand and they've regained the upper hand. Let's hope we get these F-16s into Ukraine very soon. GTA 6 trailer coming tomorrow. I want to watch that. So I if I go live with it, I probably want to. I don't know if you guys have ever played GTA. You know, Grand Theft Auto. You know, there was a lot of games. You know, GTA 1, GTA Vice City. You know, all the other ones. I played GTA 5 when it came out, obviously, on my PlayStation 3, the golden era, and then on the 4, and now they're coming out with a trailer for the 6. I'm gonna watch it tomorrow, and I'm probably gonna live tomorrow, so I want to show you. I don't know if you care about it, but I will show it anyways. I'm so fucking pumped about it. A lot of stuff happening there. Thank you so much for being here. I will see you guys tomorrow, and I will see you tomorrow. I will go live tomorrow. Don't worry, and we'll be a little bit more prepared for stream.